So I'm Michael de Manincor. I'm the Director of the Yoga Institute and current President of the Yoga Teachers Association of Australia, and also co-director of the Breath Foundation. I joined a Catholic monastery, and as part of our training in the monastery, as part of our training in prayer, meditation, spirituality, we were introduced to yoga. So in a more formal sense. Prior to that was more relaxation techniques, but at a more formal sense, we had a yoga teacher who came to our monastery to teach us some yoga techniques that really captivated my interest. It was a feeling of it, like a duck to water. I remember it so well. And it was from that point that I started to pursue an interest not only in the spiritual aspects at the time, but particularly in the area of mental health. So I was studying psychology at Sydney University at the same time, and my studies in psychology led me down a path of the mind-body relationship, and I was attending yoga classes and practicing yoga. And things started to fall in place where the scientific methodology of Western psychology and therapeutic benefits, particularly in the area of things such as psychoneuroimmunology, the effects of our state of mind, our neurological function, and the effects on the immune system and on health, started me thinking that's essentially what yoga's all about. So ever since then I've had this almost parallel interest in the practices and philosophy of yoga, as well as the scientific inquiry and the Western approach to mind-body health. So my first training in yoga, apart from being a yoga student for many years, my first training as a yoga teacher was more or less under an apprenticeship model, which I did with a yoga teacher in Western Australia. So I trained in that apprenticeship model for a period of about 6 or 7 years. And part of my interest in the training at the time took me to America to study yoga therapy. And in my studies in yoga therapy in the States, I first came across the teachings of Desikachar, TKV Desikachar, read his famous book, The Heart of Yoga, and that kind of set me off on a new direction to go to India and continue my studies. I was already a yoga teacher by this time, to continue my studies at the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram and with Mr. Desikachar and with his son Kaustubh. So it's that whole teaching tradition that I came to realise was not just what I would describe as another style of yoga. My studies in India, particularly at the KYM, gave me a sense that there's a much more complete picture to what yoga is all about. And a lot of what we have developed in the Western approach are subsets or styles of a more integrated approach. So whilst I can see the value of many of the different styles of yoga, it's the much more integrated approach, the complete picture and all the parts that make that up, that really I think Krishnamacharya taught and understood so well, and Desikachar continues to teach it, and I've had the good privilege of being able to study that with them. And so we changed the name of our business, of our centre, to Yoga Sangha, which means a community of yoga. And we continued to be known as Yoga Sangha for quite a number of years. And then as part of our centre, we developed teacher training courses and trained up quite a number of our own teachers in the teaching tradition of Krishnamacharya. And then in more recent times, we started to recognise that one of the great things that we had to offer, what we were specialising in, was in fact the teacher training and the ongoing training for people who already were yoga teachers. So we decided to focus much more on the quality of the training and the ongoing training for yoga teachers. And so in line with that, whilst we still value greatly the concept of the community of the Yoga Centre, our focus really is about training, and so therefore we changed our name more recently to the Yoga Institute and focus almost exclusively on that training. And I guess I'd add to that training also now includes the area of yoga therapy, which includes the healing applications for all sorts of different reasons, whether it's back pain or asthma or mental health areas, It's the work that I've been doing for a long time, and now we're looking at the possibility of being involved in offering yoga therapy training as well as the basic teacher training.